The worlds we craft at our tables are likely going to have superpowers. There will be characters that can cast powerful magic spells, or your worlds could be steeped in the power of science technology and have cybernetics or psionics. Or maybe your characters are pulpy and can beat down powerful foes with their fists. These characters are honorary badasses. They have marks of a typical hero. But not every character we play comes out born a badass. Some are just normal. But normal is perfectly cool too. On that note, I think the normal badass trope is underutilized and I want to bring more attention to it. So today, I'll be discussing what the normal badass is and why this character trope is especially awesome in heroic and or pulpy games. And hopefully by the end of this video, you'll know my GM and player advice on playing these characters in your next D&D or tabletop role-playing session. First off, a badass normal or normal badass, which I will be referring to as BN from here on in, is any character that remains powerful, competent, and or strong in their own verse or world despite not having any superpowers, magic, genetic engineering, or anything that is enhanced in them. However, this trope, unlike some of the others, requires there to be a lot of world building or some world building from the GM and the players in mind. So there are parameters to creating a BN. The BN, firstly, only happens in a setting that places normal human capabilities as trivial next to those of superpowers, aliens, fantasy elements, gods, genetic engineering, transhumanism, magical powers, cybernetics, or some other form of enhancement. Furthermore, the character's personal capabilities and skills need to be kept relevant amongst their enhanced comrades, rivals, and opponents. Thus, this cannot be the case of a character who is ill-equipped, novice in trading, or is just simply weak for comedic effect. So, characters that are one-off notes, characters that are in a training arc, or characters that are generally cowards, I don't think work for this trope. Secondly, the setting needs to be highly magical / highly enhanced. The BN only exists if the norm is magic, superpowers, or any other form of enhancement. This means the trope only applies if the setting possesses a large portion of characters with superpowers and the character you are playing is a normal human or normal humanoid. Thus, the normal badass is any player character who exists in a magical or superpowered world and is entirely normal in comparison to the rest of the enhanced world. Might be their personality, charm, physical prowess, intellect, or history that keeps them constantly kicking butt with the rest of the group. And there are plenty of examples in fiction. First is Padme Amidala from the Star Wars prequel trilogy. She had no force powers, but she held her own in several encounters, and she was the main heroine in the prequel trilogy. There's Ash Williams from the Evil Dead series. Especially in the first movie, he was highly capable, I'll bet a little bit cuckoo. There's James Kirk from the Star Trek original series, and I obviously have to choose an anime that I'm watching currently, and one character that came to mind is Mash Bernadette from Mashal. While Mash has no magic powers, he is a powerhouse in physical combat. Just watch Mashal. You'll understand what I'm talking about when you watch it. And for those who are watching it, let me know down below what you think of Mashal, and if I should cover a video specifically about that anime. Anyhow, these characters in their respective verse are normal. They don't have particular force powers, psychic energy, or arcane abilities. But despite that, they're still cool. And likewise, your character can do the same thing through support from the GM and other players. For game masters, create a world with the power / enhancement is the norm. I've said it once, but I'll say it again. There needs to be something about the world that is enhanced for there to be a normal badass. If you don't have this, then the trope literally cannot exist. And these powers need to show a strong contrast from normal humans the PCs might play. Example, you're playing in a hard science fiction game, and the population believes heavily in cybernetics as a way towards blowing past quote-unquote humanity's fleshy limits. However, this player character chooses not to have any of these enhancements due to their own morals and in-game politics. Thus, this character relies on their strength, strategy, and wit to win alongside their comrades. The BN needs to stand out, and that means creating a major contrast between the otherwise mundane PCs and their enhanced world. Secondly, more mundane characters need to stay just as strong as their empowered counterparts. This means give them equipment and other advantage that can scale the challenges without turning them into, well, either A, enhanced beings, or B, just outright useless. This is less a systematic question and something you really need to talk with your GM about. So, players, do that. For players, the BN succeeds when they work with the team. While they are cool on their own and they could probably deck the crap out of a pompous wizard, it's important to remember that the BN is as cool as they are because the other players don't have their quote-unquote normalcy. So lean into that. Allow your normal character to blend, contrast, and be something different than the rest of the team. And 2, be sure to define what makes them normal. While you define the world, you define the enhancement, what are the things that you are bringing to the world that is considered quote-unquote normal? Have this conversation with everyone at Season 0, especially when you're starting a new campaign. Is it a character who cannot use magic in a world ruled by magic? Is it a character who has to fight tooth and nail against a world ruled by zombies and vampires? Work together with your team, your players, and your GM to figure that out together. The BN is cool because they go without the cool superpowers or magic in a world that's filled with powerful, strange, and scary opponents. It is their contrast, their wit, their smart, their strength that makes them awesome. And no matter the odds, they'll stand back up and say, no matter what, I don't need magic to beat your ass. Of course, a character as badass as this should have someone that is calm, collected, and stoic. And I have an awesome video discussing the stoic character archetype over here. And special shout out to my Patreon supporters, Chikibi, Harrison Parker, and Paul Volpe for your continued contributions. If you too want to support the channel, feel free to check out my Patreon over here if you want to support that, as well as my coffee down below in the description box. And as always, I'm your average everyday queer host, Blurdy Suspicion. You all have an awesome day. Ciao.